I played Paper Mario countless times throughout the years, but I've never tried this before. I'll be showing you how I beat the game without using a single badge and using Mario's base attack forms such as jump and hammer in battle. So our journey begins. First things first, we need to grab the hammer from the bush. The main premise or tactic of this run is battle, 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 and battle some more. Moving through the Goomba King and finishing the prologue was a breeze. I decided to stay back and grab another level of XP before heading off to fight the Koopa Bros. I knew coming into this challenge I was going to need items and be stronger than my opponents in health and in flower power to compensate for the loss of attack power I had with Mario's base attacks. Now there's not much to talk about in terms of chapters 1 through 4 as the difficulty hadn't shown itself yet, so I won't go into too much detail. I will say that for each chapter I aimed for at least 2 level gains in XP to keep up with the difficulty rise for each chapter. With that out of the way, let's move straight on to chapter 5 where things became a lot more difficult. This is where we grab the last hammer upgrade in Mount Lava Lava. It is imperative that you have Sushi all-terrain to have her tidal wave ability ready for Lava Piranha's second phase. Also, please do not forget the Snowman doll, as without ice power and fire shield, this boss really took some damage. 13 damage total per turn without any dodge counters, which are sometimes really hard to time correctly. Without the use of Sushi's water block, I for sure would have died here, which would have been my first death of the challenge, but thankfully that didn't happen. Sushi came in super clutch and allowed me to use my healing items while taking minimal damage, while she hacked away at phase 1 with her squirt ability, which quickly took this boss down. Luckily, I went back and got the Snowman dolls, which completely incapacitates these enemies for a few turns. After that, phase 2 is just a rinse and repeat until you defeat Lava Piranha. Flower Field has got to be one of my least favorite of the chapters due to the excessive back and forth nature of the chapter itself, but nonetheless, we grabbed the bean. I lost the gem and jelly to the case of the spam fingers. I mean, you could have just given it back, like, bruh. We got the soil, we got the miracle water, grabbed Lackluster, and took the cloud machine down. And on to Huff and Puff we went. The only tactic I had for Huff and Puff was to use Bo's Fan Smack and utilize Skull's attack as much as possible. What made this boss fight difficult was his ability to heal himself. After all my star power was gone, I had a genius plan.
This is big brain time.
I'll use a Thunder Shock for a Thundercloud. Let's not talk about it. After that, I just continually healed and used Bombat's Mega Bomb to kill all enemies, which led to his defeat, but it was definitely a close call. Leaving Flower Fields, I headed for the sewer to grab the last upgrade to Mario's arsenal, the Ultra Boots, which would bring my attack power up to 3. After that, I headed to Shiver City and Starborn Valley to obtain the bucket and the scarf to gain access to Crystal Palace, where I obtained my last level up that I needed for full health and flower power. Make sure to grab Shooting Stars and the Ultra Shrooms for this battle so you avoid using all the star power early on in the fight. Crystal King is fairly straightforward fight. Use Shooting Stars first phase, second phase, same tactic with your Shooting Stars or star power to get 100% hit rate. And then use Bombat's Mega Bomb ability until you defeat him. The toughest thing about this battle was the ability to freeze Mario for 2 turns and taking a considerable amount of damage, as well as being able to heal himself continuously throughout the battle. This was a close one, leaving only 2 HP left, but I had a live stream in the bag for good measures. Now that we gathered all Star Spirits, it was now time to make our way to Star Haven and onto Bowser's Castle for the Star Showdown. Moving into Bowser's Castle, this was going to be the true test to see if this was possible. Moving into Peach's Castle, I knew there was 2 Bowser fights ahead, so I rested up with Toad in the castle and then moved on to the first one. The first fight is just as it was in the beginning of the game, where it's turn-based, leading into Mario defeating Bowser, sending him up to the roof for the final battle. Walking into the final fight, I was not feeling confident at all. I didn't grab what I thought was necessary, and I didn't want to make a trip back to Toad Town. From what I remember, this has always been a pretty hefty battle, taking a ton of damage and Bowser's healing abilities making it super tough. However, this time, I seem to have found a way around Bowser healing himself at all, which significantly lowered the battle time by keeping my health lower than 10 HP and using my live streams to keep myself there. It never triggered his heal phase. So after learning this, I endlessly attacked with whatever was in my arsenal: Scholar, Hammer, Bombette, Bomb Attack, dwindling Bowser to defeat, obtaining the Star Rod. Finally, the game was over. The stars surround Peach's Castle to save it from the explosion and lower us back to a peaceful Toad Town, where we conclude our story where we started, at Mario's house, with Peach by his side.